If that all that content is tailored for the user, that's how you're going to rank.
Welcome to episode 4 of Sell More Stuff, an e-commerce podcast. That was Tom Riley talking about SEO, and that's what the theme of this episode is. Me and Tom met last year at the DM sessions in Belfast. That's going to get a shout out probably in a few episodes. And Tom specializes in e-commerce SEO for his agency, Ride Digital Marketing, which is an SEO e-commerce marketing agency in Belfast. Now, Tom and I have went slightly different journeys when it comes to exploring life within the industry, but I think what we've discovered is generally the same. And loosely speaking, that is the best way of approaching SEO is to come at it from your user's point of view. As Tom says, it's the dovetail that brings all your marketing efforts together into one place. And if you've listened to me talk about digital marketing in general, that's kind of, I wouldn't use the term dovetail, but I would kind of say that SEO is the center point to bring that you can tie all your other digital marketing activities around and all activities related to marketing. So yeah, I'm going to shut up and let Tom and past me do all the talking. Hope you enjoy. Good morning, Mr. Tom Riley. How are you?
Hey, John. Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's fantastic to see you. Last time I saw you was at the DM session digital markup meeting in Belfast. So it's been a while.
Yeah. What was that? The last one's like a month or so ago. Has it really been that long?
Yes, it was the Andy Jarvis one. That was the last time I was there.
Oh, that was a couple of months ago then. I lose track of where I've seen everyone. It's there's that many things because I run my own events as well. It's hard to keep track. I knew it was in Belfast. I know Banana Block. There was pizza. There was beer. That's the things that stand out. There was a speaker. There's pizza, beer, and there was you. That's the highlights. So tell the crowd a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I am an SEO, and I've been in digital marketing as an industry for the last 12 years. So I started as a bit of a generalist, working as an account executive in digital marketing studio in an agency. So we had multiple clients, and I kind of helped to manage those clients. And then over the years, I've kind of grown in the agency world. Then I went client side and I worked for a couple of big, large companies. And then I started to specialize rather than generalist digital marketing. I started to specialize in SEO and particularly e-commerce SEO. So in the SEO world, you've got a lot of kind of affiliate, websites that use content. They make their money out of affiliate or serving ads. Whereas I've always worked on websites that sell physical products, so sell and ship products. And I've worked in trying to optimize those websites for appearing higher on the Google's results page. And then also on the website itself, trying to increase conversion rates and just improve the website in general for the user.
And you kind of covered it a little bit there, but just for full clarification, in layman's terms, what is SEO?
Huge question. So Google it, you'll get 100,000 different answers. So SEO, I say SEO, search engine optimization. The goal is to rank your website higher on Google's pages. So if I search for a pink vape device, I want our e-commerce store to outrank all the competitors. That way, you often click on the highest results on Google's search pages. So that's the goal, and what that entails is a huge amount of effort. But SEO shouldn't be seen in silo as its own discipline. It's more of a best practice framework, and it dovetails across everything your company does. So it dovetails with your social media, your product itself, and that product, how those reviews come in online, what people are saying about you online, your email marketing, your paid advertising, your campaigns, and everything. So SEO very much dovetails and tries to bring all that together. And that's the way you can help your own e-commerce store rank on Google.
Yeah, there's a lot of different approaches to it. I originally kind of fell into SEO whenever I was at university. I studied a bit of web design, a bit of web development, and one of the things we did in one of our web development classes was looking at best practices. And one of the university actually got in trouble with the course I did because they had found an e-commerce company who had done a not fantastic job on their e-commerce site setup. And one of our coursework tasks was to make a better version of, I think it was one of the collection pages or category pages, whatever you want to call it. And in years before ours, what they had done is they had put it on a public testing environment, and Google found and indexed the students' results. And I think it pushed the actual e-commerce company down to like page 5 in Google or something like that there, because generally speaking, when the students were getting it right, they just pushed his landing page straight off the top pages of Google, even for brand-related terms, because it was supposed to be like a direct, as if you were that company. So yeah, kind of like yourself, I worked in reverse. I started in-house a big e-commerce agency. Then I went down to small agency life where you kind of served a bit of everything, and then I've kind of came out the other side doing things for myself. So I work a lot with e-commerce startups and smaller teams, helping them supplement their own in-house skills. So one of the things we would talk about a lot, because it's one of the easier things to grasp, is like the idea of content pillars and awareness of how you frame your content in a website and how it all relates to each other can help. So in the scenario where we're talking about someone who has either just launched a new product, or someone that's just started new into an e-commerce team, or an e-commerce founder just setting up their online store, at this stage they've probably set the shop up, they've just went live, and they want to get down that pipeline of getting more sales. And where would you start?
Excellent. Yes. So that's the exciting time in a business's life. So as you say, you set up your e-commerce store. Hey, cool, you're ready to go. And, what's the point in having a website if no one sees it, right? So you need to drive traffic. So I think that there's lots of things to do. So for an e-commerce store, my greatest advice, it almost doesn't sound like SEO advice, but the main thing, it's a mindset thing, and that is a user-centric approach and strategy. So a user-centric approach to the content you write, the keywords you use, because basically a website is just a whole lot of content. It's written content about your product, it's images about your product, it's video, it's product reviews. So it's lots of content. And if all that content is tailored for the user, that's how you're going to rank. So a bit of background, SEO and ranking for Google, it's always developing and it's always changing. So a few years ago, there was lots of shady tactics you could use fairly easily to rank your website. And that's because SEO found itself in a place where website owners were optimizing for Google rather than optimizing for the user. So that's the biggest takeaway the last few years is now Google wants you to optimize for your user. If you do that, you'll be fine. So if I could just throw an example, so this user-centric approach to your content. So what do I mean for that? So imagine you are selling a vape device. Again, you might notice in this interview, I've had a lot of experience in vaping, so I often go to vaping. So say you're selling an aluminium vape device. Cool. So, for your product pages, you might want to say, right, this vape is made 100% out of aluminium. It weighs 186 grams. Cool. It's 100% aluminium, bit of alloy. Okay, cool. But what does that mean? But if you take that user-centric strategy to your content, you'll say, look, this vape device, it's strong and durable. It won't break easily. So this is great for clumsy people. John, I know you're always dropping things. This vape device, you can drop it and you don't have to then buy another one because it's not going to shatter to pieces. So it's good for clumsy people. It's good for construction workers. The guys who are always outside and smashing their vape device. This is for you. So because that's what users will search for. They want search for durable devices, and also lightweight. It weighs 186 grams, but what does that mean? Well, it's lightweight. So users don't search Google. They don't say, I want a 186-gram vape device made from 100% aluminum. They say, I want a lightweight vape. They want a strong vape. That's what they search for. So if you create your content on your website, on your product pages, on your homepage, that approach to writing and the language you use, just think of the value that it creates for the users, and how your product benefits their lives, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was working with a non e-commerce client, and one of the things I had to tackle with them is, because they are a professional in their field and they're very, very good at what they did. They were using all the more like scientific based words and like the professional terminology. And one of the things I had to say to them is, but your customers aren't going to be using those words. Like, whenever people are searching for something, as you say, it should be related directly to what the customer is searching, not you. And it's one of the things I actually find myself being tripped up in conversations with other marketers, because I typically spend most of my time talking to people who don't know the technical terms. So I talk about the meaning rather than the like the abbreviation or something like that there. And then you're working with other agencies and stuff, and you're talking to people, and everyone starts throwing around these terms and meetings, and I'm sitting in the corner going, what does it mean? What does it mean? And you know what it means. You just don't, like, because you're used to verbalizing it in such a customer centric way that it's, you're just like, wait, oh yeah, that thing. Yeah. Okay. I get you now. And I think that's one of the reasons stories and anecdotes work so well, is because you can transcribe that to the user experience.
Exactly. And if you Google about SEO, one of the main terms you'll see often is keyword research. So at the root of a lot of what we do is keyword research. So that is searching. You use a tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, a keyword research tool. So if you're selling a vape, you can put in vape and it'll tell you what kind of words users are searching for. And often you will see that the words they use are very short, very simplistic. They're not using these big complex terms. The common mistake you find e-commerce stores using, they use really technical jargon. You need to dull that down. Use a 16-year-old's language they all will understand, and that's do it for the masses rather than really using words that only people within your organization will ever understand.
Yeah, it's a weird one that kind of stands out to me. Back whenever I used to sell dog grooming products, I was doing some keyword research for us, and one of the weirdest things that come up was, obviously we sold dog shampoo, but one keyword term we were getting a lot of hits on was dog shampoo dog. And it's just like, who is searching for this? And obviously, I don't necessarily think you should optimize for those terms, but it's exactly that. Whenever you're marketers, there's a kind of a logical approach to how you're like, everyone must do this thing. And a lot of people say marketers are the weirdos. We don't get things the way other people get things, so we fall into these traps of being like, oh, it should be like this, but no one else does it. And that for me was kind of like one that you sat back and you're like, why is anyone going to Google and typing in dog shampoo dog? But it is, and it's you can find those gems in there, is that you don't always have to optimize for, but it helps break down that the logical approach is how people take, I think.
Exactly. And keyword research is great because you learn about your users. So, this user-centric approach to your content, you should always be learning about your users. So, just don't assume you know everything. So use this keyword research as a great opportunity to develop yourself and your e-commerce store. So, that's the key to SEO. So again, I'll give you another little example a few months ago that really hits this home. So again, in the vape world, but if you Google vape, so I might assume as a vape marketer that I know about my customer. So if you Google a vapor, you will see Google images, you will see a big bloke covered in tattoos, big beard, and he's got a huge vape device in his hand, and he's billowing these huge clouds of vapor. And this vape is big and meaty and shiny, and it really stands out. So I thought, okay, cool, that's what vapors are, right? But then we I wanted to learn about the users. So I went to our product reviews. So we had 7,000 product reviews. So ran that through a tool, and it gave me a big keyword map of all the most commonly used terms that our reviewers were leaving for us. So the common ones were there: shipping, good, excellent, or terrible. Those are the common words used. But if I drill down a little bit more, I started to see a couple of words like sleek and discreet. But I just told you, vapors don't like sleek and discreet. They like big and bashy. So
Mhm.
then I created a few category pages for stealthy vape devices. We had a lot of vape devices that were disguised as other everyday items. So vapes that were disguised as car keys, vapes that were disguised as pocket knives, pocket pens, really sleek, really small vapes. So I
Yeah.
created these category pages, and they exploded, and they are still the best performing pages on our vape website. And
Mhm.
that all came from the fact that a lot of our competitors don't have these category pages. They don't have a small, discrete vape page because everyone is selling the biggest vape device, the biggest mod with high powered, huge batteries. But actually, what this learning, and it was just from opening my mind to learn about your customers all the time, and that taught that there was a huge gap in the market, and that has really boosted sales.
Yeah, I think there's also people, because people know their product, they always, and even if they mention something in passing, they seem to assume that A, Google will pick up on it, and B, their customers will pick up on it. So two kind of examples from my end on this is I did just a consultation with business just whenever I was starting Vend, and it was some that sold gym supplies, and they literally just did category pages, and other than products, there's nothing else on there. So one of the things I sold was barbells, and what I said to them was like, right, okay, looking at literally, I was like, if you take the Google knows everything and nothing about your website in one hit, it's like based on this page alone, how does Google know whether you say a barbell that you lift or a barbell that the tender rings at the end of the night to say last orders? Because there was no clarification on that page beyond product title names. Um, and then on the flip side of that, I was working with someone who they sell products and they're vegan friendly, cruelty free, and they didn't have collection pages for this. Um, but whenever you Googled it, there wasn't a lot of strong competition. So I set them the task, because they were a mentor and client of mine. I set them the task of creating content, showed them some tools, set them off. And within a month of putting in the effort, they were on page one of Google for, like, vegan friendly, cruelty free, or all these things. And even though it was mentioned on their page, as you say, because there was no category dedicated to that, not many companies had went to the effort of creating these pages. They were able to get on there and increase sales that way.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a huge trick there. This is a hot trick for the listeners. Category pages are key for e-commerce stores. So you can have a product page, but products come and go. So as a business owner, you'll know products come and go. You might change suppliers. Uh, Different products might become trendy, and other ones might get banned even, but your category pages will always be there. And in SEO, there's this huge area of building authority. So a category page that has existed for a couple of years really starts to gain tractions. It might get a few links to it from other sites, backlinks. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you work on your category pages, that's a big trick, because uh, you know, as you say, you can create new category pages. They might really start to rank, and that's a huge area of SEO is testing and learning. So you test, you might make 5 new category pages. 4 of them might not do anything, but one might do really well. So learn from that. That might be your cruelty free category page. Okay, so build that out, build out content about that, embed some videos about why you want cruelty free products, how your products are made and tested, all that sort of thing. And that's a big part of SEO is always be learning, always to be developing your approach.
Yeah, I think whenever I was in house, we won Team of the Year, Digital DNA, going back, I think it was 2016. And then we're like, oh, this is great. And then the company board went, okay, but now you need to come to the next board meeting and tell us why you guys won. And the e-commerce manager at the time was like, well, I'm not doing it. So I had to do it because the marketing manager was on the board, so they couldn't do the presentation. They're like, okay, John, you're next in line. You're lumbered with this. And I stood up and I was like, what the reason we won is because a good digital marketing team of any specialism, it's like a shark. The industry changes that quickly, that if you sleep, you die. So you can't stand still. You always have to learn. You always have to grow, and you have to dedicate yourself to that pursuit of knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind.
Exactly. Always learn. And how do you learn? I mean, that's a big question. How do you learn this? There's a bit of creativity. There's data, but there's also a sprinkle of creativity. I mean, it's art
Yeah.
and science, but you know, in the digital world, there are so many avenues you have to learn about your customers. So whether they're your product reviews, user-generated content, they might make short photos or videos, put them online, do social media listening, go on social media. What are people talking about it? And these are all really powerful tools in this. So your previous guest on the pod, Andy Jarvis, he's a big believer in this. Listen to what people are saying and always be learning. Because the other two big tools I just want to mention for SEO, Google Search Console and Google Analytics, they tell you what words people have used to get to your site, how many people have landed on your site, and what people do when they're on your site. So that might seem a bit boring, but they give you so many insights that just keyword explorers like Google Trends, they just won't give you. They really give you insights. So yeah, I mean, if you understand your user intent, use that to understand what the users are looking for and what their intent are, then create website content that matches that user intent. So whether that's creating guides about your products or,
Mm-hmm.
the product page itself. So this aluminum vape, tell us about, how strong it is, how durable it is. And then the results of doing this approach will be high click-through rates from Google and hopefully higher conversion rates, because people will find the information they're looking for, and then they'll give you a product to try. And hey, if it's a 30-day free return, then they'll almost definitely likely give you a product to try. So that's the approach, and it filters through to everything your business does. Like the products you sell, if you start creating user-centric content, it may sound like a philosophical leap, but your business will really start to understand the products and what benefits they give to your customers, and start to work for them.
Yeah, no, it's I just sprung in my head there. One of the things whenever I started in house, with the e-commerce platform we were on, had a couple of issues. So one of the things it didn't do is it didn't include category or product descriptions in the URL. So obviously that's one of the things that affects ranking factor. But one of the things I looked at is we saw dog clippers. To go back to the dog, you use vape. I use dog grooming products a lot. I've worked with multiple dog related businesses across the spectrum for some unknown reason, so it always comes back to that. But one of the things I started on the path of was people, whenever they work with nervous dogs and stuff, they were always looking for which clipper was the quietest. So one of the things I actually started doing, much to the annoyance of our in-house engineer, was I actually asked them to do decibel tests on the clippers while they were running. And then so we were able to put in not everyone understands fully exactly the decibel rate, and I can't necessarily do, but I know that lower number is better whenever you're looking for choir. So they were able to, we set up a test where at all there's a stand here, it was like 10 centimeters away or something like that there. So we recorded that. So there's a controlled environment that we recorded in. So we were able to say, you know what, if you want the quietest clipper, this is the clipper that you want to buy. And then we were able to tell it to salespeople, so they were able to use that on the phone. And then one of the things I find about SEOs, as you said yourself, it kind of resonates across all forms of marketing. because then you can go on social media and be like, you know what, this is the best product for this purpose, because people are searching for it and they're following you on social media. They could be searching for it in social media, like TikTok's big with SEO as well. All these different platforms. But that's like it transcends like the ability to take that information, because if they're looking for it on your website, they can be looking for it anywhere. I just think that was
Absolutely.
a fantastic
Yeah,
show.
that's a hugely powerful thing you can do as a company is run these kind of research and this data. So the decibel, which clippers hit what decibels, that's something that could even be picked up by, it might be a stretch, but the Daily Mail, they might say, look at all this research that's been done by this website. And they give you a backlink. So backlinks are a huge part of SEO. So if you start to create all these unique and interesting insights, then people will link to it. So that's that's fantastic. I think that's the exact approach. Understand dog owners have these nervous dogs. They need lower decibels, and then you give them the data. You work and create this data of which products offer the lowest decibel ratings. So I don't think ratings is the right word for decibels, but levels.
I'm just levels maybe. I'm not a sound guy. Not the smartest approach whenever you start recording a podcast to not be a sound guy, but there you go. Tom, I think that's a really great insight into starting off on SEO for e-commerce. Do you have any books you'd recommend for people who are looking to learn a little bit more?
Yeah, so books, absolutely. So this goes to what I've been saying about user-centric SEO, and I highly, highly recommend Product-Led SEO by Eli Schwartz. So it's very unique. SEO, there's not a huge bookshelves on the issue with SEO is always developing. So you might publish a SEO for beginners books, and it will go out of date in 3 years because how Google does their algorithm and crawling and things. But Product-Led SEO by Eli Schwartz, it's a timeless book in that it's all about user-centric. It's not just creating content based on what keywords have the most volume. It's about product-led, creating a product that generates value for users and your customers, and that's the heart of everything you do in your SEO.
Yeah, I think that Google, whenever they release their quarterly updates that send the whole community into terror mode, they change the technical approach, but the fundamentals of the human nature side of it, I think, remain the same. And I think that's a good shout in that book. Look, Tom, thanks very much for your time today. I really
Fantastic.
appreciate it. And hopefully the guests will appreciate your insights as well.
Cheers, John. See you soon for pizza and beer at the session.
Sounds good. See you soon.
So the real moral of the story, if you listen to what me and Tom said, is that the end user, your customer, should be the primary focus of your SEO. If you are doing a specialist product, talk about the benefits to your customers, not just your customers as a whole. It would be easy to talk to everyone all at once, but segregate your pages down and focus on the individuals. As Tom talked about hardware and vapes, as I mentioned, the cruelty-free, vegan-friendly products, and really focusing on who it is that's buying their products and why they're buying their products. And be a shark, never stop learning, and that will help you across the board. Focus your SEO efforts onto your customer and keep learning, keep developing new skills, and keep on going. We'll be back with more on some more stuff. And keep tuning in. We're getting near the end of Series 1 now, where we will stop looking at the startup point of view and we will start to explore some more complex. So that will kick off in, I think, 3 episodes from now. And we're doing this kind of a sequence. I already have that episode filmed, and it's a fantastic guest. I can't wait to announce who she is. Take care and see you all again soon.